right. Come on, looking well.
He always looks good, doesn't he, Mike? Don't you?
I'm good.
Well, Mike.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for coming to the press conference to announce what is quite definitely going to be one of the fights of the year. It's the first time that a big open-air show has been on here at Elland Road since 1992. Henry Wharton topped the bill on that occasion. The two lads have been calling this one out forever, and I'm sure a lot of you follow their exchanges on social media. It's been a spicy build-up, to say the least. Lee is an outstanding champion. He's been champion since 2015. This will be the 5th defence of the IBF crown. And as you know, Josh has been campaigning for this one. He wanted to be fighting here at Elland Road, and it is now happening. Please, can you just keep it down for the time being? Keep it down for the time being. And remember, this is a press conference, so please let's keep the exchanges out there among the crowd. Keep it decent and give the guys a chance to say what they have to say. If they want to go at each other, that's fine, but we don't want you being involved. So please, let's keep it that way. Anyway, the promoter of this terrific event, which I'm personally looking forward to immensely, it's going to be live on Box Nation and on BT Sport, and our promoter, of course, is Frank Warren.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us here at Elland Road, home of Leeds United. This, as John said, is a fight that we've been working very hard to put together, and we finally have got it together. We've got a fine champion in Lee Selby against Leeds' own Josh Warrington. And you're allowed to cheer for Josh Warrington. He's good boys. You'll never guess what camp I'm in. But anyway, Josh, for me, signed to me a while ago, and you know, he's one of the best guys I've worked with. He gets it, he understands it, and we've worked very hard to deliver for him his opportunity in his hometown, working with his dad, Sean. So we're delighted about that. And as I say, we've got a great champion here in Lee Selby, who's shown that he's got the balls to come here and come into the other guy's backyard. He's with his manager down the end there, Chris Sanigar. So we've got the ingredients here for a fantastic fight on the 19th of May here. I think it's going to be a great atmosphere. I think more importantly, we're going to get a great fight. I know you're all going to get behind your man. I know that all the Leeds are going to turn out for Josh to come and get behind him and support him. And I know that Lee is bringing quite a contingent up from his hometown. But he will be, I'm quite sure. But anyway, whatever happens, we know it's going to be a sellout. We know we're going to have a great event. We've got a great fight. And at the end of the day, no matter who the supporters are, once they're in that ring, they're on their own, and the best man's going to win on the night. And obviously, we're all looking forward. I'm looking forward to hoping it's going to be my man Josh.
Frank, you've promoted big fights for a long time now, including stadium fights, big occasions. This one's right up there, isn't it?
It is. I mean, this is a fight that, in some ways, we forced this to happen. We've worked very hard to get it together. Josh had to go through an eliminator to get him into the #1 spot, which gave us the leverage to ensure that the fight happened. And eventually, Lee agreed to come here. So, you know, we've done everything we've had to do to deliver it. But this is up there with competitive fights. It's a great division in the UK. You've got over in Belfast, you've got Carl over there, Carl Frampton, in a tough fight against Danair in April. But he comes through that. You know, this is just great for British boxing and for British sport. So, you know, we're working hard, as I say, to make things happen. And we've made this one happen. It is on. We've got to thank everybody here, Mr. Adrani and Angus Kerman at Leeds, for helping us to get it together, and obviously BT and Box Nation, and our sponsors 32 Red and Foot Asylum and Raynham Steel. Without them, this wouldn't happen. But more importantly, without you guys, it wouldn't happen, because you're the people who are going to come along, you're the people who are going to buy the tickets, you're the people who are going to watch it on TV, you're the people who make these events happen. It's important for us that you know, we show you the respect you deserved in bringing these events into cities like Leeds and giving the fans what they want. The home support for their champion. You know, or champion to be, I hope. That's what we're all about, and that's what it's about with Josh. As I say, you couldn't meet a better guy than him, you couldn't meet a nicer guy than Lee. But I think our guy's a nicer guy, and I think our guy hopefully will, with the home support, prevail.
I was checking on Odds Checker to find out what price these two guys are with the bookmakers, who rarely get it wrong, and you can still, if you shop around, you can still get 4-1 against Josh Warrington, which suggests that this guy is a pretty hot favourite, making his 5th defence. You've got a little bit of an idea of what the support's going to be like for Josh coming into the Lions' Den here at Elland Road. Does it faze you?
Won't faze me in the slightest. Not in the slightest. If that's the plan, to try and unnerve me and unsettle me before the fight.
All right, let him answer his question.
Won't faze me at all. And if you're banking on like me falling apart before the first bar goes, there's another thing coming.
What are your thoughts about the fight, Lee?
I think it's a great fight. Josh Warrington's done everything asked of him. This time he actually gets a chance to win one of my titles rather than buy her off me. Sorry. You know, when he was coming through, his previous promoter had to buy my titles off me. They paid me to give up the title so he could fight with him, to build him up in front of all you lot. And then he wanted to put us in a big fight together. He kept calling me out time after all his fights. We agreed the fight. And for what I've been told, he turned the fight down and then boxed on the same day against a different opponent.
You tweeted that you thought it was going to be an easy fight. Is your thoughts still along those lines?
It won't be easy. No fight's easy. You know, it'll be a tough fight, like all the rest of them. But I believe my class will show on it.
Let's hear from the man who I guess most of you have come to see here in Leeds. What about it?
Yeah, the Welsh Mayweather is in the house. Looking like a light heavyweight. Minus his caterpillar moustache.
Listen,
he's found a big razor.
The fight's already sold. Stop being a ticket touter. trying to build a fight. It's already sold.
Seller.
Shut up.
The ticket seller. Listen, destiny is taking its toll. You know, 2 years ago, you said that I'd never get me opportunity to fight for a world title. I'd missed, and that ship had sailed, and I wouldn't even win an eliminator. You said them words, but I'm here. I won my eliminator. It's here. For me, I should be jumping up and down on tables, but you can't mess with destiny. And I feel like I've already done this. I've seen this many times. I've seen the build-up, and I know what it's going to be. And this is just meant to be. On May 19th, I know a few things. There's going to be a royal wedding. There's going to be an FA Cup final, and Leeds is going to have its first world champion.
What about the fact, as I said to Lee at the beginning, that you know the bookies have got you as a real outsider? They're talking about 4-1. Are you telling your mates out here, get your money on?
Yeah, without a doubt. Listen, I've you know, it's a chance for boys to make a few quid. I've been an underdog before. It don't faze me one bit. You know, bookies. You say that bookies don't get it wrong, but they do many times, especially with boxing. And yeah, normally I'm odds-on favourite when it comes into fights, especially at Leeds Arena. But listen, Lee is not the big be-all and end-all superstar that you know he thinks he is, and everyone talks about. His last 4 fights with his defensive titles, every one of them's been shaky, and he ain't making that 5th defence.
Your dad, Sean, sitting alongside you, he's organising your training, your preparations for this as ever. Sean, tell us why you think Josh is going to win this. What are the weaknesses you see in this guy that maybe haven't been exploited so far?
I'm not going to sit here and give all my secrets away there, am I, John?
Give us a hint.
No, we've got his number. Listen, Lee's a very, very good fighter. I've never said any different. I don't play on Twitter. I don't play on Facebook. I don't go superimposing pictures on men in dresses and weddings and things, you know. I think if I were Lee, I'd be wanting to know what I'm getting for my money from these guys, because I won't be paying people to play on there. I'd be getting on with business. And that's what we've done. You know, he's a good fighter. I've never said anything. I'm actually a fan of Lee Selby early days. But it's come along. Lee's a few years in front of us. We've come along behind him. It's not a case of buying titles. It's a case of he's moved on because he's a good fighter. And somebody else is going to come along and carry on where he left off.
They always say about boxing, don't they, that it's about timing. Not only timing your punches, but timing to get the fights at the right moment.
Of course it is, yeah. And I mean, all this business, he said, she said, turned it down. If we turned it down, why did we fight an eliminator to be sat here now? Don't make sense, does it?
Chris, what are your thoughts on this one as Leeds manager? Is he heading for his toughest night?
Well, let me firstly say that I think I'm more excited being here at Elland Road than Lee is, you know, because I'm a great football fan. And when I was a boy, Leeds United were a big, big team, you know. And let me say, you know, you had this great affiliation with Wales. You know, John Charles is the best player you've ever had. Gary Sprake played 500 times for you. The best goalkeeper you ever had. You had Terry Yorath. You've had Gary Speed. You had Brian Flynn, and he scored the winning goal against Manchester United, I think back in 81. You know, so, you know, that's the affiliation that you got from for Wales, you know, and you treated those players with the highest respect. And I can assure you, on that Saturday night, after the fight, you'll treat Lee Selby from Wales with that respect, because you'll say, hey, that was some fighter. And no doubt, this will be the fight of the year. And as regards the fight, Josh Warrington is a good fighter. He's come up the hard way, you know, on the small hall shows at first, and, you know, he's progressed. And now we have a stadium fight. This is all we ever wanted for Lee Selby, and I'd like to thank Frank Warren and, you know, John and BT for actually, you know, putting this on, and everybody here at Elland Road, Leeds United. You know, we're very, very pleased to be here. You know, I'm so excited about it. You know, like my pals, naturally, they're all my age, 60. You know, and I'm going to be on there. I've been at Elland Road. You know what I mean? And that's, you know, the respect that I've got for Leeds United. You know, I can name all your players. We had Terry Cooper down at Bristol Rovers. You know, playing. I think he played about 56 times. He then became our manager. So, you know, there is this closeness. And when you've got a respect in sport, that's what I hope you'll show our man Lee Selby, because he is a great fighter.
Lee, when you get out into the ring on the night of 19th of May and you hear that noise, I mean, there's going to be a massive crowd here at Elland Road. How are you going to cope with that?
I'll cope fine. You know, I've been the away fighter many times before. I boxed on my first TV appearance was on one of Frank's shows when I was a big underdog and I knocked out the hot favourite Stephen Smith. I went to Belfast with a hostile crowd, throwing things at me, swearing at me, booing me, jeering me. But they were boxing fans. I put on a great display of boxing, and they gave me a standing ovation on the way out.
And whatever people might say tongue-in-cheek, you will be bringing plenty of fans up from Wales, won't you?
No.
No.
I'll probably bring a coach or two, Lord.
Taxi. I will just say this, you know. In the early days, I respected you, Lee, as a champion. I respected your accomplishments. And you might have had a bit more respect off the fans, but you must have bipolar or something. You must forget what you say, because many times you've said in interviews and you've disrespected the Leeds fans. You know, you disrespected my fans, calling them...
I've never disrespected them.
No, you have disrespected them. Just calling them...
I told them I'd silence them on the
You're
night.
calling brainless football fans. You know, listen, call them what you want. They support their own. They turn out, and the supporters of Leeds, they come out and support me. They pay their hard-earned money and make sure they're home all the way. And the thing is, they're here to support me. They're giving you your biggest payday, and they're going to see me take that title. And
First
if
of all,
you would have shown a bit more respect to them, then they might have shown it a bit back. But And like I say,
First of all, you're not giving me
Like
nothing. I'm the champion. And, you know...
listen, you wouldn't have gone anywhere else and got a payday like this.
Listen, I've been with Al Heyman the last few years, and
I'll
everybody
even
knows
give-
in boxing.
I'll even give a toss about you, to be honest with
He
you,
pays
because-
the,
you know what I
the
mean?
biggest
You'd have
purses.
been-
So if you think this purse is like outstanding to me, it's not.
Right, fair enough. But listen, I know what goes on behind the scenes, and you know this is one of the biggest paydays you've had, right? And I'm just a ticket seller, but you know, I will say, like, on behalf of the fans, you can't go around, you know, slating them, just calling them football fans. I'd rather have these behind me than anyone else in the world, than any other city or team down in the world. Because I know they're going to turn out in the numbers.
First of all, I didn't call them brainless football fans.
Yeah,
I said you
on
support.
Twitter, you've said that
No,
many times.
I said they're football fans. I didn't call them brainless. I called them football fans,
Right,
and I said I'll educate them on the night. I said I give you an educated boxing lesson,
And like I
and show
say,
them the difference between football and boxing.
You might have boxed in other places before, yeah. You might have gone to Belfast and boxed like Sir Martin Lindsay. You might have gone over to Frampton show, but this is different. You want experienced anything like this before? This is a different kind of.
If you're banking on that, you're going to never think of.
Listen, people in here, because of you slagging them off, they don't like you,
don't
and
care.
they're going to be hanging over the balcony. They're going to be hanging
Josh,
over the banisters.
Josh,
Hold on, Chris, let me just talk.
Let me
talk.
just say
Let me
this.
just
You
talk.
keep talking
Let me
about
just
all
talk.
the supporters.
Let me just talk.
They ain't going to
Right,
help.
Let me just talk.
Those supporters ain't going to help you on the
Yeah,
night.
they are.
You'll
Yeah,
be
but-
in there.
Yeah, I know.
It's one
we know
against
that,
one.
We know that.
All
But
this about the
what I'm saying
supporters
is
and about
you're
this.
walking
It's
into
one
an hostile
against one.
atmosphere, and it's
You
something
know
that you've
what
never
it's like
faced
when you have to
before.
have a fight. It's one against one. And this is what it'll be. You won't be able to help him.
Listen, you won't be able to help him either. You're not in the ring with him. It's me and him. And I know that.
I don't need no help.
Josh, Chris says that they won't be able to help you. You tell us, Josh, what it's going to be like for you. I asked him what it's going to be like for Lee when he goes out and feels a pretty hostile crowd.
Listen,
When you get out and you know that they're on your side, how much will that lift you?
Listen, his team didn't want this press conference open to public. You know, that just goes to show something. You know, everything's going to be hostile, including, you know, the build-up, the weighing up and workouts, and the fight itself. So, what does that tell you? Not a confident fight. I'd happily go down to Cardiff and stand in front of all these fans. It's not a problem. It don't bother me. The thing is, when he's walking out in the tunnel and everybody's leaning over, screaming and shouting, bathing for blood, and when he gets in the ring, and every time I land a punch and the crowd roars up, I don't know how he's going to react to that. He thinks he knows how it's going to go because he's done it many times before, but he's never stepped in foot in a place like this before. Leeds is different, and I've always said it's not a place and there's not a crowd like Leeds with a different breed.
Let me say, in all the fights that Lee Selby's had, it's very, very few times he's ever got caught clean. You know, so it will be interesting to see when he gets caught.
Chris, flyweight, Fernando Montiel giving me one of his hardest nights. Eric Hunter had him on his backside. And that fella who we boxed last time, that fucking Mexican taxi driver, he couldn't miss him. He went knackered after 7 rounds, he didn't even throw a jab and he couldn't miss him. So what do you mean he can't get hit? What fight are you watching, geez?
Good matchmaking.
Lee, you're the champion. You've had this will be your 5th defence.
Yes.
And you've heard what Josh thinks about your weaker performances. What do you think was your best performance?
I've had a few good performances, but still the best is yet to come. There haven't been a night where I think I've performed to my best. You know, I have some days in the gym where I'm just like sparring. I'm untouchable. If I can bring that to fight night, May the 19th, it'll be a mismatch.
Does his fitness, does his engine, you know, the high work rate, which you know he's going to bring, does that worry you at all?
Not at all. We've seen me get pressured by many fighters. I've just outboxed them, outclassed them. If he comes steaming out with all his fans roaring behind him, he just fall into my hands and I'll box his head off.
Because, I mean, from my perspective, it seems, you know, sort of kind of vaguely neutral that Josh's real chance is to make you insist on you having to fight 3 minutes of every round. He's not going to let you take any part of any rounds coasting.
The last time I can remember where I really had to dig in and have a fight was back in 2011 against Stephen Smith. That was the last time I really dug in and I had a bit of a terror, and we know what the result was there.
Yes. Have you been in against anybody of this style? Anybody as awkward and unorthodox as Lee?
I've always come through my fights, and whoever has been put in front of me many times, and Leo has said himself that there were times when I probably wouldn't have won the fights. I mean, you know, I've had 8-foot Japanese fellas, I've had angry little Spanish fellas in like Kiko Martinez. I've mixed in all these different styles. I've had the awkwardness of Samir Menemne. And listen, on fight night, you know, we've been working on this for a while now. You know, he said for a while I'm obsessed with him. I haven't been obsessed with him. I'm obsessed with winning that belt. I've been obsessed because with anything of having the fight with him, because he said that I'd never get that chance. I'd never get that opportunity again. You know, he used to tell me that it would knock me out. That's changed now. He's just going to box me head off. You know, other week I seen something on social media. If he were 11.5 stone and whatever he walks around it, he'd bang me out, but he can't bang at 9 stone. Well, we fight at 9 stone, don't we? So, you know, that's a load of bollocks. And I will say one thing: it's a good job we don't fight like just after the weigh-in, because normally after the weigh-in he looks like an Ethiopian. So, you know, it is a good job that we don't fight straight after that. You know, he talks about being this big banger and this and over. He was in the last fight. He was eating the Mexican clean, and the Mexican just stared and took it and kept on coming. So, you know, Lee's got his own idea about how the fight's going to play off. But like you said earlier, this is about timing. And since the first offer came about, the first fight, I've had 3 fights since then. I'm wiser. I've matured a little bit more. I'm getting stronger and fitter. And listen, it's going to be best Josh Warrington you'll see on the night.
Lee, what does it mean to you over the last couple of years to have been able to walk around saying, yeah, I'm champion of the world?
It's an indescribable feeling. It's the best feeling in the world. You know, from a young age, like 8 years of age, I was in the boxing gym and I had that dream of becoming world champion. No one believed in me except for myself. Even like my father, a big boxer, finally he didn't think I would win the world title. But I just stuck at it, kept working and working, kept my focus on what I wanted to achieve. And with the hard work and dedication and the right team behind me, I'm here. And I'm hoping to reign for a long time.
Frank's talked about what might happen after this, and clearly Nonito Donaire or Carl Frampton in the summer is a very real possibility. Have you got any thoughts on that one?
I think it's a great fight. Nonito Donaire is a little bit past his best, but he's a puncher, and a puncher is always dangerous in a fight. And they say that's the last thing to go in a fighter. So, obviously, this might happen to be on Carl Frampton, but anything can happen in boxing.
If you come through this, would you go to Belfast?
Of course, yeah. I've been there before. I boxed on the same card as Frampton when he won the European title. And, you know, it was a bit of a hostile crowd, but I performed to my best. And I'd be happy to go back there.
And likewise you, Josh. First of all, just tell us what it would mean after all your years in boxing to finally hold that belt, to say, I'm a champion.
Well, like I said earlier, John, this is destiny, and I feel like I've been here before, so I'm just enjoying it. I'm taking it all in. You know, this city deserves it. My fans deserve it. They've been supporting me for a long time, and they've been craving for a world title. So to lift that world title on the pitch, you know, the home of the mighty white gods, will be an amazing feeling. And it's just start the next chapter. You know, there's other big fights out there. And listen, obviously everyone wants to come and see me punch Lee in the face, but you know, it could have sold out with anybody. You know, it could have had Scott Quigg, could have had Carl Frampton here, and that is where I want to go after. In an ideal world, beat Lee. I don't mind going to Belfast, taking boys on a away day, and then we'll go smash Vegas and go over to America. But listen, one fight at a time, and let's get that world title on May 19th.
Well, you'll have chances for head-to-head interviews, all the many television cameras here and all the reporters who've come up here today. Tickets, Frank, they're going to be available shortly, are they?
There are. They'll all be available from Leeds United box office, and they'll obviously put the details out on that, you know, when they can actually, how your fans get them and so forth, and obviously from the usual people like Josh and so forth. So those details will be put out in the next 24 hours.
I get the impression, talking to you, I mean, I've known you for many years now, Frank, you're genuinely excited about this, being a huge event.
I am, and I'm a big believer in home advantage. You know, you asked any, as we're talking about football, you asked any club, do you want to play at home or do you want to play away? You want to play at home, you want to be in front of your own fans. And I think it's really important for any boxer when they're fighting in front of their own fans, it gets more out of them. As much they could be the greatest fighter in the world, but if you're fighting in front of your fans, you do not want to let them down. It pulls a bit more out of you, and that's what's going to happen on the night. And it's going to make, and I think it's going to make all the difference. You know, people are underestimating the bookmakers for sure are underestimating Josh, in my opinion. He's done everything that's been asked for him. He's not done it the easy way. He's done it the hard way, and he is where he is now. And he'll be out there on the 19th of May, and I know 100% you're not going to get anybody more committed than him in bringing a belt home for his fans.
Right, well, we're going to be doing head-to-heads in a moment and also all the pictures, but before then, and let's try and keep this relatively sensible, questions, please, from the floor. The guys are here. Shout out what you want to say. Go on, Nick.
The journalist.
Journalists, preferably.
Right, guys.
Lee, you said you're going to World League educated boxing lesson. What does that involve?
It involves like a beautiful boxing display. Behind the jab, hit and miss.
Does that mean it goes the distance?
Same as his last fight.
I'll probably break him down, round by round, and then stop him later on. That's my prediction.
Same as his last fight.
So you're predicting a stoppage?
Yeah.
Sound confident there, pal. Sound confident there.
Any more questions?
Any more? Shout them up, please. Go on then, Nick.
Regardless of all the hostility towards you, understand this. We 100% respect you and your abilities as the world champion. Understand this. The time is coming to hand out or to hang.
We'll have to wait and see. Time will tell. Time will tell. If for some reason I did lose, anything can happen in boxing. If I did lose, I'm gracious in victory, and I'll be gracious in defeat. We'll see. It'll be him. There won't be no we.
Yeah,
There won't be
okay.
no we. It'll be him on his own. Yes.
You've got till May now, so do you think you'll be able to grow a proper moustache by then?
How can you talk with a face like that? Where dear? I'm surprised they let you in.
He's got a point.
Any more questions?
Any more educated questions?
Well, let me tell you something. Jamie Spate was in his camp, sparring partner, actually boxed him.
Yeah.
Ask him what he thinks. He'd been in, I think he might have sparred a round or two with me. Ask him what he thinks about the fight.
Jamie's got an opinion on everybody, and I mean
Yes, young
everybody.
man. Question here.
Let's just say that if it goes to draw,
Yeah.
where's the next fight?
If it's a draw, there'll be a rematch and we'll have it here again.
Yeah, sounds
It's not going to
good.
be a draw. It's not going to be a draw, mate. It's going to be...
Sounds like September.
I would just say, thank you to Frank. When we signed with him, one thing I said that I want to happen is world title, and if you can, Elland Road is delivered. I'd like to thank my dad and the rest of the team. They know who they are, who've helped get this over the line, and Leeds United for getting behind one of their own and supporting us, helping us make this dream. Listen, this is the one what we've been talking about for years. When I've been walking about streets of Leeds, and folk have been coming up and saying, let's get the big one at Elland Road, and this is an event what's going to capture the whole city and Leeds fans all around the world. So tell your mates, tell everyone, let's make it hostile, let's make it something special. And so you turn around and you can say in years to come, I was there on May 19th when Leeds saw its first world champion, and let's fucking have it. Come on.
Any more questions? Any more questions? Yeah.
Yes.
Just a quick comment from myself, as not only as press but as a fan of Leeds, fan of Josh. You are not going to feel anything like what you're going to get on the May 19th. The passion, the dedication, we're coming for you.
What was the question? Next.
Carried away there, but are you ready for it?
So look, I wouldn't be here if I wasn't ready for it. Of course I'm ready for it.
I'm just saying, you don't look ready. You look a little bit...
Let's not talk about looks, come on. Sit down.
Anybody else?
Can I just ask, in terms of preparation, are you going to do anything different for Josh Warrington?
No, I'm just going to treat it as every other fight, the same as any other fight.
That'll do, mate.
Pardon?
Your knowledge of your level and where you've been doesn't
Yeah.
bring anything at all that actually...
Well, I'm very experienced. You know, I've had maybe 27 fights. Only 9 of them have been non-title fights. You know, I'm making my 5th world title defense. This is my 6th world title fight. So I got a lot of experience. I've done it time and time again. So I know what to do. I know what to do in the training. I know what to expect from Josh Warrington.
Even before he became world champion, you know, we were going to the USA. He was going to Los Angeles. He was sparring in those Mexican gyms against all comers, you know. So we would treat this fight with the highest respect. We'll go over there and mentally and physically, Lee Selby will be ready for Saturday night, May the 19th.
I think there's another question down here, yeah. Questions, how do you make sure, Josh, that you don't get overwhelmed by the occasion?
Listen, I feel like I'm repeating myself here, but I feel like I've been in this moment. I've pictured myself, anytime I've been on pitch, anytime I've gone down to watch Leeds, I've always pictured myself being in there, so I feel like I've lived it already. It's not going to be nothing new to me. I walk out in front of thousands at the arena, and I have learned from there. Like one of the last times Lee were down there, he were ringside, and I had a bit of a bad night at office because I did get carried away a few years ago. But I've learned from that, and I've learned from you know, dealing with the pressure, dealing with the fans, dealing with hostility, and you know, experience is the best teacher. So I'm going to enjoy the occasion. I'm going to enjoy walking down that tunnel and walking onto the pitch and getting in the ring. But as soon as that first bell goes, I'm going to be switched on. And 36 minutes to win that world title.
Anybody else? Yes, at the back.
Leeds v Cardiff this Saturday, Elland Road. We're going to see you on the pitch.
Most likely, yes.
Good luck, son.
Thank you.
In boxing, there's always got to be a good guy and a bad guy. All right?
I'm the good guy.
Hey! So Lee Selby, if you want, we'll play the bad guy, and Lee Selby will promote this fight as much as we can, so you've got as many Leeds supporters as you can get. The Soul Crew will be coming.
Any more?
Right, gentlemen, I think we're all
Okay, well, that's about it then. Head-to-head interviews coming up. And can we also have the photographers now? Head-to-head pictures. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you.